Good day, everyone, and welcome to God's Universal Wisdom. I am Apostle Lafayette Cabell, and I came to talk to y'all today about a couple of things. Things that we don't never really talk about, things we take for granted, things we neglect, and we only talk about them when we're forced to. So I want to talk to you about how are you serving your time? How are you serving your time? Because we are so narrow-minded, and we keep our minds inside of a box. And with that being said, that's just the way we keep God in all His splendor, His wisdom, His abilities, His miracles. We keep Him in a box too. In other words, we hold God to our limitations, and God is much greater than that. So I want to talk to you today about serving time, because we only feel like we serve time when we're in prison, or or you're in the service or something. But every day you serve time. The one thing God gave us after He breathed the breath of life inside the nostrils of mankind, He gave us time. And this is what we don't like to discuss. This is what we take for granted. We take that yesterday we can't get back, but we don't take that very seriously until it's time to reminisce, or we don't take having time on this earth and life very seriously until we feel like we closer and we nearing our end time. Then all the things that really matter shows up, and the things that don't matter, you realize they really don't matter. Like the things you worry about, the things you stress about every day. But if you're on your deathbed and your mind is not going to be on a bill, it's not going to be on a car, it's not going to be on a house, and it's not going to be on half of the people that you are concerned about. So I want to help you today so that one of your greatest regrets in life will not be, I wish I wouldn't have wasted so much time on things that did not matter. Alright, so what is time? Let's talk about that first. What is time? Time is denoted the measured or measurable period during which an action, a process, or a condition exists or continues. Time is also denoted as a duration. It's also denoted as an appointment, a fixed or customary moment, an hour for something to happen. Time also denotes a prison sentence, a person's experience during a specified period. Now, with these denotations, and with that being said, is what we're not really doing is we're not really taking it seriously that tomorrow is not a given. An hour from right now is not a given. So what we must understand is that every moment is precious. So if you think about it and you look back over your life and you see how you really wasted a lot of time on things that just don't matter. Things that just don't matter. So time is very precious, and I want to put emphasis on that because we waste so much time doing nothing. We waste so much time doing nothing. And there's so many things out here for us to do every day. There's so many things for mankind to get involved in, to become a part of. But is that really going to matter? Is what you're a part of today really going to matter if you had 10 minutes left to live? What would really matter then? Will it matter that you don't have rims on your car? Would it matter if you lived in the projects or a mansion? What would really matter? would your mind be on whatever it is on a day, and it really doesn't matter? You know, the religious world like to put limitations on what really matters. And I'm reminded of the Good Book, and it says work while it's still daytime, because there comes a time when night season is gonna come and you're not gonna be able to work. Now, well, wow, for a minute, let's just pause for a minute, hold that thought, because I want to talk to my brothers and sisters, my Christian brothers and sisters. And because a lot of people feel like the way Apostle talks, that he don't really care for Christianity. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. But what I'm saying is, there's more than one road to God, and you can't limit mankind to just one road. I mean, does it really matter if a person went through a religion to find God? Does it matter that if a person's journey, their road to God had to go through prison? Does it really matter if a person's road to God was through an addiction? Does it really matter? I mean, because to me, what really matters, and the only thing that do matters, as long as they get to God. See, we can't hold people to your road and your journey and say that's the only way. That's not true, people. That is not true. That is not true. And so to my Christian brothers and sisters, I want to say this to you, because a lot of people have been giving me feedback by the things I say about the building. And it's not just the Christians, but it's all religions. And you can work religiously, and that could be as a religion. You can shop for clothes religiously. People like to say, Apostle, you always going at it. No, I'm not going at it. What I'm trying to do is get you to see, so that you don't have to go through what I went through, because it's really that necessary. Now, I don't knock a religion. Again, I don't knock people's belief, because let me explain this to you about belief. Anything you believe in is your reality. It's reality to you. So if another person is coming another way to get to God, and it's not your way, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter how they get to God, right? You say you care about them, you love them, so it don't matter how they get to God, as long as they get to God. So I wanted to bring some clarity to that. And as I was saying to my brothers and sisters that's in these religions, as well as any religion, as well as my brothers and sisters in Christ, is that, can you tell me, out of your good book, that's the Bible, that's what I call the good book, if you out of the good book, or out of the Holy Bible, can you tell me how many times that, well, let's rewind it. You say Christians, right? That means Christ-like, because that's not in the good book. The word Christian is not in the good book, so that's something man made up. And they said they call them Christians because they was Christ-like. Okay, I get it. I understand it. I agree with it. But if you're going to be Christ-like, let's do it the right way. Tell me how many times Christ was in the building as recorded. I believe it's only twice. When he went in there to teach the elders, and when he beat the people out the church for turning his father's house into a house of thieves, a den of thieves. But if you look at Christ, his ministry was always outside the building. So I'm trying to get an understanding why you always got to be in the building. If you say you Christ-like, he served more time outside the building than he ever did in a building. Now, I get it that you go through a religion to build a relationship with God, but then you're supposed to leave and start working on your own salvation with fear and trembling. You're supposed to build your own relationship with God. You're supposed to study and show that self-approval. A workman that need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. You have to go out there now and start establishing your relationship with God, building a personal living relationship with God. and begin to live. And outside of the building is when you go and where you go to minister. The ministry is outside the building, y'all. Inside the four square walls, I'm telling you, it's confusion. It's chaos. It's taking the confusion of the world and sealing it inside four walls. You know, you there should be no pressure for you to serve your God. Why is there pressure when you're in different religions? The Bible tells us to come as we are. So why we got to do it this way? Why can't we just do what God said and say, come as we are, build our relationship with God, let God teach us, show us, and lead us, let life show us where we go wrong, how we went wrong, and we grow every day that way. Now, I'm going to tell you something. People only run to God, whether through any religion or whatever, they only really turn to God when the journey that they have chosen to take becomes too much for them. Other than that, people wouldn't be in there because you didn't think about a religion or building a relationship with God as long as you felt and thought everything was good. But then when you reach your extremities, your limits, the last of your strength, you know, all the cliches that's in the building. I'm tired of being tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, I'm tired of being tired. Come on, y'all. You know, this is why people say, with people who have religions, there's people out there that say that you're weak. You're a person that gave up because you go to these religions and now you act like you can't do nothing. You was doing everything before you got a religion. Now you can't pay your bills. Now you praying to God to pay your bills. God, give me a job. But before you did that, you went out and found a job. You did your research and you put in applications. So let's not get too caught up in things that don't matter when you're serving your time. This is where Apostles at. My road was through the streets, and when I left the streets and went into Christianity, people was mad at me then. Family members, people in the street. Now I'm no longer in the building. The people in the building mad at me. So life has shown me that shouldn't matter, love. Because no matter what you do, right, wrong, or different, there's always gonna be somebody that's against what you're doing. That's against what you're doing. So that doesn't matter. So one of the first things we want to stop doing is being so concerned about what people say or think. Because it really don't matter when you're on your deathbed or you're standing before God. That's not going to matter. You're not going to think about, oh, this person don't like me. You're not going to think about, oh, they talk about me at work. You're not going to think about, oh, I got to be on in my position and with my white outfit on because it's Palm Sunday and I got to be there in my place. You did none of that. None of that religious stuff, none of that stuff we call employment or job, none of that is going to matter. So why do we put so great emphasis on it now while we serving time? People say, oh, Apostle, I don't like when you use that term serving time. Well, let me ask you something. Let's talk about serving time then. All right, here it goes. When you're in prison, because that's one of the denotations of time, prison sentence. Do you realize that you've been sentenced from day one? When you first was born on this earth and your time clock began to tick and it started, you've been serving time. Okay, you spend time. Say you give somebody your time. You still serving time when you give them your time. You still serving, distributing, handing out, rendering your time that God gave you to somebody else. To something else, a noun, a person, a place, or a thing. The time you put in for when you get a new car, you washing it all the time until the newness wear off in your mind. The job, you go every day. Religiously, you go every day, and you give in your time every day, and that's not really gonna matter. So we're so caught up in all that's going on, we hold God to our limitations. And there's no need for that. Because the denotation or the meaning of the word time also means duration. So what are you doing, or how are you going to live, how are you going to serve the duration that God gives you here on this earth? Are you going to say, God, are you going to dedicate all your whole life to your children? Think about it now. You think God gave you all this time so that when you have kids, and then they grown, you still obligated to give them all your time? That's not true. That's not true. If you look at the majority of stuff that man is calling right, it is wrong before God. God's instruction was be fruitful and multiply. Replenish the earth. Enjoy life. Go out here and enjoy the time I've given you, because after it's up, there is no extended time, people. There is no where you could purchase time from someone. You can't go to Walmart. Though they sell almost everything, they don't sell time. And you've been sentenced to serve and to live in this duration known as time that God gives you. So, and let me tell you something. You've been sentenced. When God gave you time, you were sentenced to life. So for the rest of your life, you have to serve your time. And if you notice, that is the last thing we serve. That's the last thing we recognize, unless we get sick, close to death, get a bad report from the doctor, or just had a unfortunate, but fortunate, if you're God's child in the right standing, incident that, they don't know if you're going to make it or not. That's what matters then. I've been on my deathbed too many times. Not so that life, not to receive what life was trying to tell me. And that is, enjoy every second, minute, moment of this duration, son, because you don't get another chance to do this again. This is not a rehearsal. This is not pre-season. No, this is not. This is the real deal Holyfield, people. You gotta live, and you only get one time to do it down here. Do you want to get older and say, man, I wish I should have, could have? Or do you want to say, I have no regrets because I lived my life in the way that I believe was right, and in the way that I wanted to live it? See, we say our children, they get a certain age, and then they, we say, oh, they think they grown now and got too grown for their britches. This will be the parents, the guardians, the grandparents and stuff like that. You got too grown now and this and that. And they just, and you just want to run the streets and all that. But what it is it's the burning in them. They don't realize it, but it's a burning in them, and a hunger and a zeal, a drive, a motivation to just go live, to finally do what I want to do. I could do it now. I'm out my parents' house. I'm grown. I got my own place. It's just that we processing it wrong, but it's the truth anyhow. You are free to do what you want to do, and then when you get that power, you mess it up. Now here's another nugget for you that one day I'm going to really get into it. I want to share with you today. And that is, everything that man discovers, man destroys. If a woman or male, mankind, if they discover you, just know they're going to destroy you too. You don't believe it? Oh no, I've been together. Okay. You in denial. Because God doesn't even call man a blessing. He called mankind. Lord Jesus, He called him everything but a blessing. He said that we are sorrowful. Sorrowful is not a blessing if you go by the good book, because the good book says the blessings of the Lord make it rich and addeth no sorrow. And if all you is sorrowful, there's no way you cannot give out you, which is sorrow. So there's no way they could be a blessing. They could be the instrument that blessings are channeled through and come through to get to you. But the blessings of God make it rich and addeth no sorrow. The blessings flow from above and not from beneath. So we need to understand that even in that, you got to understand this too. Anything you start, you're going to have to stop or take a break, or it's going to break you. And that could be religious, that could be a relationship, that could be work, that could be anything that you start. The world says it this way: too much of anything ain't good for you. And I used to knock that because I was so blinded by this religion and blinded by the blindness of my mind. Not allowing my mind to be free and seek understanding, but just taking people's word because they dressed in robes and they have titles and positions, and just believing people because they older. That don't make them right. Life will show you 9 out of 10 things you actually believe. It's God. It's wrong. Keep living. Keep seeking God. Keep listening to life and listening to God. And God will show you that we are doing things so wrong. The things we're concerned about, God is not even concerned about them. What he's concerned about is what you're doing with your time. What are you doing with your time? Are you stressing out? Are you using your time 6 months to 8 months out of a year to stress out because you want to lose weight? Does that really matter if you're going to die or live? Does the number on the scale matters if you're going to die or live? I don't think so, people. I don't think you'll be concerned about not having this shape like a Nicki Minaj, or not having a body like a LL Cool J, not having a voice like a Whitney Houston. You're not concerned. You wouldn't be concerned if the people in the building like you. You wouldn't be concerned about that. It wouldn't matter if your mortgage was going to get paid or not. Because what really matters is it right in front of you. Life or death. Life or death, people. How you going to serve your time? And if you're anything like me, I'm 47. Do you actually believe I got another 47 years here on earth? Okay. Thank you, but I don't believe that. I don't even know if I want that. Do the math, people. That's 96 years. I'm alright. My time is going to come just like the blessings are going to come. Listen, people, it's coming. Good, bad, up, down, in, out, it's coming. Whether you in a religion, or as the religious folks say, whether you full of the devil, it's coming. You could be praying. I've prayed. I know my relationship with God is incredible. Not because someone told me, but because God told me and life showed me. It's incredible. And I know I'm a prophet. I know I see like no other. But guess what? Even with all them gifts and that relationship with God, God does not warn you about everything that's going to take place in your life. He just doesn't do it. Other than that, he just would have created robots. Do you understand what he gave us when he gave us our will? A will. When you have a will, now you have power. And you're going to get, and for much is given, much is required. So you have power over your life. So you can't blame no one else when you stand before God on that sad day. Because that's going to be a sad day. Because a lot of folk think, shit, and no more kobo shit. Think they are going to make it in. And they're going to be shocked that more people got to heaven than outside of religion than the folk that's in the religion. Okay? God is not concerned about that. Show me what God said have a religion. Show me what God said believe or trust in anyone other than him. You got to get to a point like where I am on Apostle Paul said, in the good book of my brother Paul, he said it like this. He said, yo, whether it be an angel, whether it be a death angel, things present, things to come, it don't matter. Nothing shall separate me from the love of God. Not from the love that I have for God, because I change, you change, we wishy-washy. But I'm talking God's love for you today. Can nothing separate you from that, not even your sin. And before he allowed it to happen, he sent the Savior. But let me explain something to you. God is a provider and a rescuer. The rest is up to us. Believe it or not, the rest is up to us. He will give us the day and the ability to go about it in that day, and that don't last always. That's why you hear folk that are wise and been taught, but it's usually the older folk that live for a minute. They say it this way: when they pray, they don't ask for nothing but for life, for health, and for strength, because they realize that's all I need from God, and that's all he gonna give me. You don't even have grace until it's needed. Do you realize when he says it's going to rain on the just as well as the unjust? Do you realize when Apostle Lafayette Cabell just said that no matter how you live is coming? Do you know what that means? Do you really know what that means? That God is saying, I'm going to be there for you, but you got to live this thing. You got to make your own choices. You got to live and serve them choices. And you're going to have to decide one day what matters and don't matter. And if you don't do that the whole sentence or duration that you here on earth, you're going to do it just before you check up out of here. You're going, whether you're in a coma state, you're going to realize and you're going to ask and beg for another chance. And we don't always get that. We don't always get that other chance. You know, God said it this way. He said the evil is sufficient for the day. Each day you live, it's more than enough evil existing in it. You don't have to be evil. You don't have to invite the evil. You don't provoke evil. And you don't allow yourself to be provoked to do evil. Now, I'm still guilty of charge of that. I need help in that. Because there's only but so much you're going to do to me that, you know, then I'm going to slip out of apostle quick on you. So don't do that with me. You know what I mean? Really, don't do that with me. You know, because when you held, and this for leaders inside these religions and stuff, when you held, and parents too, people will hold you to your position and title as if you're not human and that you can't get upset. You could get upset. Don't let people make you feel bad because you got upset. But if it's the need and the right thing to do is to apologize, but make sure you do that. But don't hold that against yourself. That's part of being human. I mean, even God, who's not human, get upset. So these people will try to hold you to stuff that really don't matter. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You make it matter. Oh my God. He don't love me no more. Oh God. What did I do? You just lose so much time over stuff that don't matter. You can't make somebody love you. You can't make somebody want you. That's their choice and their decision, people. So if somebody's with you and you like them and they showing you they like you, I think you need to appreciate that. I think you need to appreciate that. Because if you really look at you, I ain't talking about the man in the mirror. I'm talking about cutting on the light. Not the light in the room so that you can see when you walk through your home. I'm talking about cut on the light from heaven. Now how do you stand? Now how do you look? Now all your hidden things, your secrets, they all exposed. Now are you transparent? Meaning you can be seen straight through. There's no hiding. then what? What's gonna matter then? And the reason why people have secrets, people, because you're concerned about what people say and think. Oh, that's not true. That's not. Well, let me explain to you what a secret is. A secret is something that you're hiding and protecting and guarding, and you're shielding it because you don't want to let it out because you're afraid of the judgment or the conclusion of the whole matter in which man's opinion is going to derive from. I've learned, people. And I'm talking to you today and hoping that you will learn. Don't go where you're not wanted. Don't be mad because they invite you out. That's telling you something. And you should never want to go where you're not even wanted. That's why I don't want to go to hell. And I'm making my business not to. Why? Not only because heaven is so great and it's the better choice, but also because I never had an invitation to go to hell. That means they don't want me there. So why should I want to go there? Sounds familiar? Do it sound familiar? You want to be with somebody that don't want to be with you. Now how sad is that? How you going to serve your time today? Because I mean, if you admit it and tell the truth, employment gets more time than anything in your life. And before that, school got it. So I ask you, when is your time going to come for you to live your time, just you and time? Oh, Apostle, you saying cut everybody off, disconnect yourself. That's not what I said. See, that's where your mind is at. How many of y'all know you could be around hundreds and thousands of people and still be alone? So that it goes the same way to say you could live your life and enjoy it in the way that you intended it, in the fear of God, in the presence of His report and not man's, and still mingle and have friends and loved ones, but you're living the way you're living. You're not living this way because your kids put that pressure on you, or you put that pressure on yourself because you have kids. You're not living this way because you have a mate and you know this and that, or what they gonna say, how they gonna look at me. See, then you're not free. I'd rather be free than be happy. Did you understand it? I'd rather be free than be happy. Because in being free, I don't have to be happy. Because things, when people are happy, it's only because things have happened. Things have happened and transpired. But when you are free, it's all good. Even happiness is down here in your life. Because you steady existing, abiding, residing in joy. Meaning strength, pleasure. Grateful to be alive. Grateful you have life and health and strength today. Grateful that your journey is your journey and not somebody else's. We always want what we cannot have. And we always desire what's not good for us. How you serving your time, man? We all got life here. We all got life. So I chose not to serve time in jail no more because I'm already doing life. So why do I need to go get locked up and locked up and locked up in my mind and locked up in my emotions and serving my emotions and entertaining and serving my evil thoughts and all crazy, discombobulated. Your mind is cloudy. You cannot see clearly. And people, you're not living. You just got things in your life occupying your time. That's it. I promise you. If you review it from the eyes of God, or you ever spent your time thinking this may be your last time, you came out of that different. You eventually converted back, but you came out of that different. You meant that promise. You promised God to keep your promise. What's going on, people? How you serving your time? Do you frown more than you smile? Are you so caught up in what the doctor said that you can't even enjoy the rest of your days left? Somebody asked me that. What would you do if they told you you only had a certain amount of time left? I said I'd go buck wild, doing whatever I could that I want to do. Of course, that wasn't acceptable, but that was the truth. Well, I want to sit around my last hours and stress and worry about if another person is going to be taken care of. Why? Oh, that's only the right thing to do. You love them and this. Nah, no. Because guess what? They got to find their way just like I had to find my way. And for all of y'all that feel that you're not beautiful and feel that you're not great and feel that, no one understands you, let me help you out for a minute, all right? That I'm not attractive. And let me explain something to you. You are so great, you don't even understand how strong you are. You beat the odds of hundreds to tens to thousands, hundreds to thousands of cells just to get in your mother's egg inside of her womb. Do you know do you know that was a great accomplishment? And then, because you were so great, your mama's body did not abort you while you was yet a fetus, and even greater than that, God and life did not even permit or allow your mother or your father to follow through with the abortion. Oh, honey, oh, brother, you are great. Don't you believe that? You're not great because you have a religion. You're great because you're here. You're great because you're here and you have time to serve. So serve your time right, man. You got a life sentence here. How long is that? I don't know. But I already did 47 years. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And we all on death row. You say, why are you coming that way? That's so negative. Why is that negative? Oh, that's right. Because what I'm saying to you, you use reference in your own database on your mental Rolodex to be negative. But if you really feared prison like that, why are you locked up in your own self now then? Why are you the worst CO that ever existed? Why are you the meanest and the rulest and inconsiderate warden of the prison? Come on, people. I challenge you today. I challenge you today. I'll challenge you to live. I challenge you to take very seriously. I challenge you to file in your mental Rolodex in your heart. I challenge you to file it in your heart today that you only have a little time left. And you'll see how important, how essential, how vital time is. Apostle, why are you talking like this? Because all our times are running out. All our times are running out. And if you stood before God and this was your last day here above ground alive, and you stood before God, said, but God, I've healed the sick in Jesus' name. God, I've led so many folk to you till they even got filled with your presence. God, I've done so many good deeds. I've helped so many people. And God gonna say, you're right. But I have one question for you. And it has nothing to do with salvation. It has to do with, what did you do with what I gave you? Oh God, what do you mean? I did this. I was smart. I ain't do too much bad. Other people around me, because that's what we do. They was worse off than me. I thought I was this and that. Nah, you ain't answering my question. This is what God gonna say. He gonna say, what did you do with the time I gave you? You cannot say, well, God, I gave it to my mate. God, I gave it to my family. God, I gave it to my job. God, I gave it to my school. God, I gave it to my kids. But God said, I did not allow you to be born connected to them like Siamese twins. I brought you in individually. I gave you, your time is individually. Your strength is just for you. The time I gave you is just for you. No one else can live this time. No one else can even borrow your time unless you give it. what did you do with what I gave you, son? What did you do with your time I gave you, daughter? So you saying I should have done. God's gonna say no. I'm not saying nothing you saying. I'm saying why didn't you make time for yourself? This is where the charges come. The charges ain't coming on the deeds you did. You can't do deeds to make it into my house, son or daughter. A religion is not going to get you into my house, son or daughter. It's a life well respected, well lived, full of mistakes, full of weaknesses, full of deliverance, and full of strength. What are you talking about? What are you doing with your time? Don't believe these Hollywood stories and these movies and stuff, people. You don't need a bucket list. I don't have a list because I run out of everything I put down on my list. Because I make it my business to do it. And I know, I don't believe, I know God honors that. Because in all that I do, right, wrong, or indifferent, I include God. Y'all don't believe me? But I do it. Because you know what? Nothing else matters to me. Every day, first. But I got to know I'm still connected to God. Sin don't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me because sin don't matter to God. It doesn't. Because if sin, was as great as what they taught me in these religions, ain't nobody be alive. God ain't concerned about that. What we need to be concerned about is what God concerned about. And that is, are you still connected with me? Do you still hear me? Do you still feel me? Do you still see me? Do you still respect me? That's not a building thing. That's a life and a relationship. Do your homework, y'all. Even look in your religions when they talk about God. God is never in the building. Okay. I was believing that at one time too. No, well, miracles and stuff, that's after the fact God has came and gone. What are you talking about? You know why God does miracles so much in these religions? Because the sin is crying out. And that's what summons God. Where sin abound, the more grace abound. Where sin abound, grace abound the more. Are you serious? And I know y'all ain't gonna like this, but I'll go as far as even saying I felt safer when I was in sin than when I was in the building. Believe me. So people, how you serving your time? Huh? You still worrying about the things that don't matter? Stop worrying about the things that don't matter. Don't worry about it. Because if you believe it, then it's reality to you. It's reality to you. And when you get to a point in a place like where I am in with God, you'll realize I don't need no religion. I don't need none of that stuff. You know why? Because I don't have a choice. I have to serve time. I don't have a choice. I have to reverence God. I realized and came to my limitation or my extremities and realized I can't do this on my own. And that's what God wants you to find out and figure out in life. This is why the ups and the downs must be, the highs and the lows, the mountaintop experiences and the valley experiences. You got to have them so that it keeps you balanced and keeps you honest, and it gives you the wisdom and knowledge and the understanding of the fact of, okay, he gave me this time to live. I live it the best way that he taught me, and our personal living relationship between me and him, not between what another person think. Because when on that day, I cannot say Reverend such and such told me this, Pope such and such told me this, Elijah Muhammad told me. I was following my leader. God gonna say, oh, hey. From day one, when I created man and then formed him, I never ever told him to follow no one but me. And here's another thing for this religious stuff and this world stuff that we say that's right. Amen. You're not the head in a marriage. You're just number two. The head of all mankind is God. So ain't no head in no marriage. You can't find that word in the Bible coming from God to my marriage. He never said when he blessed them, I marry you, I pronounce you man and wife. He said when you come together to be helpmates, you leave your mother and father and become one. You never heard the word marriage. That was man processing and man denotation and came up with this thing called marriage. Oh, it sounds good. Oh, it sounds good. Well, you go to any religion. You sit there long enough, it'll start convincing you too. Because you just want help. And that is the most dangerous spot you can be in, is a desperate spot. Because you make hasty decisions. You don't never think things all the way through. That's why I respect everybody that ever left me. Because they made a choice. And I love and respect everybody that stayed with me because they made a choice. Don't get mad, people, because people come and go. That's what they do, whether they with you or not with you. I mean, even in life, they come on the scene and then they off the scene. They come on the scene, they off. So why is it a problem when it's like that in your natural life? You know, it's incredible. You've been married 12 times, and what you said that to say what? This is what I want. I'm trying to make this thing work. Let that person work their own journey out. Mind your business. If you want to be single. But don't judge nobody else that ain't single. And don't judge nobody else that is single. Do you understand what God is trying to teach you today? Like the stuff we're concerned about is nothing. It doesn't matter, people. But we all twisted up in knots and balls because this is what we've been raised on. And just because mommy taught you, daddy, grandma, your guardian, doesn't mean it's right. That worked for their journey, for their beliefs, for their walk, and their time. Showtime now, y'all. And you know what? It's not just your time, it's showtime. What you gonna do? Curtains opened up on you. They opened up on me in 1966, August 5th. They opened up on me. And ever since then, I've been on my journey. My journey. When I was able to understand right from wrong, that's when I was released from my mother and father, but didn't know it, and they didn't know it. But that's when my record began to start. You knew that was wrong, so you did it anyway, huh, Lafayette? That's God. He warns us before we even... I don't believe half of this stuff no more, this religion stuff. He talking about God don't hear you. Then I want to say, how in the hell did he hear me when I was on the block? And I was crying, and he ain't no God. If you be a God, this and that. And he led my feet into a building and felt his presence and broke my heart. Don't tell me he don't hear you. I don't believe that. So how do you cry to be saved then? I don't believe that, people. I'm sorry. He only hear religious people? Really? Come on, man. The first two people that ever existed, man and woman, Adam and Eve, they had no religion, and they was talking to God. Matter of fact, he came to them and was talking to them too. Understand something, people. You better understand this thing called life, because you're gonna go through life a religious nut and gonna wind up a hell-bound nut. You should want to be free. You should want to know the truth. You should know. Look at life. Look at the trees. Look at the flowers and the bees. Look at the animal kingdom, will you? Look into the mammal. Look how they do. We the only one that holds on to our blank siblings. I mean, our kids, man. That's crazy. Even the animals understand after a certain age, you gotta go, partner. I don't know if it's because they feel it getting too crowded around here or what. But not us. Oh no. That's why I be talking to these women. It's wrong how you treat these little boys. You know what I mean? Your little sons, man, you won't let them be men, man. If they want to go and move out or they want to go into the service, yo, that's not your journey to live. Parents, that's not our journey to live. They come around by 18 or today maybe 15, 16, they start bugging, oh, they lose, my kid is getting too out of hand. Allow them. It's, oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. You know, no, it's not. I didn't say not chastise them. I said allow them to make their decisions. Allow them to find their way. You're in the way, and they cannot find their way because you call it love down here. You call it being a guardian or a parent, and you are in the way of this child finding their own journey. I was guilty as charged too. But God knows today, I'm free of everything that even I brought into this world. Because guess what? I can't give account for nothing, even though it came through my loins. I can't give account for nothing but the time and the life that I live. How are you going to serve your sentence? How are you serving your sentence? Are you doing your time, or is this time doing you? I hope you understood what God was saying to you today. I wish and pray the best for everyone, you know, in the world, because everybody needs God's grace and mercy today. Because we are so far off as mankind, not in what you believe, but in what you're living. Our whole reality is an illusion, but because we believe it, it's a reality. I love you today. I pray that God will give you understanding, revelation, knowledge of what was being said today. That the Spirit of the God will open up, so that and take the blindness off, that you can see and understand that it's all about you and God. Then it's about your choices and decisions. It's about life, God, and your time. Everything else is a choice by us that we chose to allow, invite, or bring into our own lives. God bless you. Stop being mad at your parent. God is telling me to tell you that. Stop being mad at your parent. You know what I mean? Stop judging them to your friends' moms and dad. That was who God allowed to be your guardian. Then so be it, and so shall it be. Don't be mad because they left you. It was time. God probably removed them because you wouldn't go and find your own journey. You ever thought about it that way? You're great today, people. I know you heard what God wants you to hear. God bless you. Apostle Lafayette Cabell from God's Universal Wisdom. One more time for all my people out there and for the people that don't even know me. One love, God's love, one life, one time to do it. Do it right.